I think it's more than safe to say that you guys definitely enjoyed What If Naruto Was a Reaper. So here's part 2, and not to mention, it has been such a long time since you guys have showed as much support as you guys did for this series, so I just want to thank you guys for that. And also remind you that leaving a like on part 2 never hurts, as it continues to keep encouragement for this series alive, and with the more people that click on more parts, the more encouragement I have to keep dropping it. So let's say it drops down to 1K people watching the part 4, I don't really want to make it anymore. So just saying, leaving a like will go a long way. That said, enjoy.
Hey Ross, sauce it up.
Ever since Naruto had unlocked his new bloodline and was able to now see the future of anyone who he saw or even came in contact with, he started meditating to better control it, and sure enough, he was getting better and better at doing it so. In fact, it was through these meditation sessions that he met the Kyuubi, and as they talked, the Kyuubi started to take an interest in Naruto and decided to help train him. After telling Naruto his true name is Kurama, they decided to start new training with his sword, and Kurama said, "Okay Naruto, first things first, you should know that your sword is no ordinary sword. It is what's known as a Zanpakuto. You named it the Spirit Dweller, but when the time comes, the sword will reveal its true name to you, as well as its form. Do you understand me so far?" Naruto nodded his head yes, and the Kyuubi continued and said, "Now then, as an Uzumaki, the art of sealing and Kenjutsu should come naturally to you, but you must first learn the basics. I can teach you, but you must pay close attention and do not question me. Do you understand?" Naruto nodded his head yes again and said, "I promise. I'll do whatever you say without question, Kurama-sensei." And Kurama said, "Good. We start tomorrow. Now then, don't you have a lunch date with your friend Sakura?" And Naruto said, "You're right, I do. Thanks Kurama. See you tomorrow." Naruto then disappeared from his mind and returned to the real world. He then realized that Sakura was waiting for him to start their study session, and so, all throughout their lunch break and weekends, Sakura would help Naruto where he needed it most, which to Sakura's surprise was just about everything, from math to history, chakra control, and even basic ninjutsu training. His romantic dates with Hinata also helped him greatly, as it helped him gain the support of the Hyuga, and by extent, thanks to his future sight abilities, as everyone was calling it, also had the Uchiha clan on his side as well. Things were going well for Naruto, and would only get better when he made the Hokage the biggest announcement ever, and would shake the village to its very core. Meanwhile, we find the third Hokage Hiruzen Sarutobi, Jiraiya, and Tsunade of the Sannin, along with the Hokage's advisors Koharu, Homura, and Danzo. Hiruzen's about to make the biggest announcement ever, and the villagers would soon see Naruto much differently. Afterwards, and so seeing as the entire village was gathered, he decided to start by saying, "People of Konoha Village, I thank you all for coming here today, for I have an important announcement to make." He then paused to let the villagers talk amongst themselves, and when it all calmed down, a random civilian asked, "And just what exactly is this important announcement, Lord Hokage?" Another random villager then said, "Yes, please tell us." And Hiruzen said, "Are you sure you all want to know so badly that you would even face death himself to hear it?" As there was a big silence. Now, the villagers were sweating, and the entire crowd went completely just dim, completely silent. This caught Hiruzen's attention, and he said, "Very well, then I shall tell you. This, a certain blonde hair and blue-eyed boy is always being hurt, beaten, chased down, and hunted like an animal. This boy is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, son of the 4th Hokage Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki. You have all been abusing an innocent child for containing the 9 tails, but ask yourself this, what would happen if you actually succeeded in killing him?" Jiraiya then stepped forward and said, "You're all a bunch of imbeciles. Had any of your attempts to kill my grandson succeeded, the Nine Tails would have been released, and you'd all be dead. Minato Namikaze was my best student and a seal master, and you all disgrace his and Kushina's sacrifice by not treating their own son like a true hero for containing the Nine Tails. Instead, you treat him like the very demon he contains." Silence had just fallen upon the village as they began to regret what they had done to Naruto and the hero of the village since birth. Seeing this, Tsunade decided to step up and said, "You bastards have the nerve to call him a monster when after reading all of his medical files, the only monsters I see here are the ones right in front of me. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze is the very last Uzumaki clan member alive and of the royal Uzumaki clan family. You should all be ashamed of yourselves. There is a literal law written by my grandfather, the first Hokage, that any and all forms of abuse to a clan heir of royal or noble blood may decide the punishment of the abuser. In other words, you're all guilty in the eyes of the Senju and Uzumaki clan family. But your punishment isn't for me to decide. It's Naruto's decision. Pray to Kami that he'll be merciful to you all." Hiruzen then said, "Well, you all heard what she just said. The first Hokage's law has been invoked. You have until his next birthday to make amends with Naruto Uzumaki and treat him the way that anyone else would want to be treated. That is all for now. You're all dismissed." The crowd then left thinking about what to do now that they know who Naruto really is and that all of them were on the chopping block. Because now that a Senju clan member, no, make that the last Senju clan member and Naruto's grandmother Tsunade Senju had invoked the first Hokage's law about abusing a clan heir, and they knew he could either have killed them or imprisoned for life, or worse, requested the daimyo cut funding for their businesses. The village was now in a state of panic and just did the only thing that they could at this point, and that was praying for their lives to be spared. Meanwhile, up in the heavens, Kami had just fallen flat on her back, laughing so hard she felt like she was going to die, and then come back as Naruto's mother as she continues laughing and said, "I can't believe what I'm hearing. All those insects begging me to do for them." Oh please, Kami-sama, let Naruto forgive us. Let Naruto forgive us. Kami, please spare me and my family. I beg of you, Kami-sama. Find it in your heart to have Naruto-sama forgive us. We're sorry for harming your son, Lady Kushina. Lord Fourth, please forgive us. Kami then turned to Shinigami and asked, "Did you plan all of this happening and made sure you gave him the power to protect himself? Did you know that all this was going to be one of many end results?" Shinigami just chuckled and nodding his head said, "Indeed I did. So while sealing the Kyuubi inside of him, I gave him a small portion of my power, and yours as well." Kami just started laughing again and said, "Wow, you practically turned him into a god, Shinigami. I'm impressed and fully approve of this decision." Shinigami then bowed and said, "As I knew you would. Thank you, Kami-sama. Shall we grant these insects their prayers, or shall we let our champion decide their fate?" And Kami said, "This is an affair of mortals, not immortals. Shinigami, not immortals, Shinigami, and you know our laws, that gods don't interfere with the affairs of humans unless necessary. So no, for now, we'll let Naruto take care of it, as we simply sit back and watch the show." Chapter 4. Naruto recognized as the village savior. When word got out to the other villagers that Naruto was the fourth Hokage's son and last royal heir to the Uzumaki clan, well, let's just say that Hiruzen, Jiraiya, and Tsunade along with the entire village council had a Kyuubi-sized headache, and like the Kyuubi wasn't so easily gotten rid of by normal means, we now had to find what the third Hokage and grandparents Jiraiya and Tsunade of the Sannin going through the paperwork, and watching them all groaning in irritation as the three large stacks of alliance, trade agreement, and political marriage forms in front of them. Naruto said, "You do know that there's an easy way to get through all of this paperwork before nightfall, right?" Their eyes just widened, and Hiruzen said, more like begged, saying, "Please, Naruto, tell us, and we'll do whatever you want." Naruto then said, "Alright, step aside and let me see the forbidden scroll of sealing. If I'm right, then the secret is right in there." And so, watching to make sure Naruto didn't scroll the scroll, Hiruzen handed Naruto the scroll out on the floor, browsing through it, and said, "Aha, I knew that. That was Dad's secret to paperwork. Looks like you had it with you this whole time. Look." Naruto then points to a certain clones technique, and the Hokage said shocked, he didn't think of that before. "Shadow clones. Why didn't I think of that? Stupid old age. Thank you, Naruto. You're a lifesaver. And as a reward, I'll let you have the shadow clone technique and its secrets, plus one and only one other jutsu from the scroll." And Naruto said, "I already know which other ones I want from the scroll, and that's the Rasengan and Hiraishin jutsu. They're my birthright, aren't they?" And Hiruzen said, "Yes, they are. And you may have them." And Naruto then interrupted and said, "Hey, look at this. There's something written here by a person named Mito Uzumaki that says, 'This scroll of forbidden seals is the sole property of the Uzumaki clan, and the borrowed property of the Hidden Leaf Village. Should at least one Uzumaki clan member remain in Konoha, that person by all rights may take the scroll back at any time if they see fit.'" After hearing what was written in the very first page of the scroll, Hiruzen started banging his head against the wall and said, "Damn it. Curse you, Mito Uzumaki. Now I have no other choice but to give Naruto the entire scroll." And Jiraiya said, "Please, Sensei, calm down. There's gotta be some way to get." And Tsunade said, "Jiraiya, I'd know my grandma Mito's handwriting anywhere, and that's definitely her handwriting. It seems she didn't really trust the future generations of Konoha or their Hokages. Sorry, Jiraiya, but by all accounts, the entire forbidden scroll of sealing now rightfully belongs to Naruto. And even though I hate to give such a dangerous secrets to the kid, maybe we can give it to him after he graduates from the academy. What do you say, Naruto?" Naruto gave it some thought for a moment and said, "Alright, but there's very dark and dangerous jutsu in here that should be destroyed. The Edo Tensei. From what I can tell, it allows the user to... Oh no. I have to contact the Shinigami immediately." And Jiraiya said, "He can summon the Shinigami?" And Naruto said, "Don't ask, just watch." And so, Naruto activated his Reaper Eye and using the summoning jutsu said, "Summoning jutsu, Shinigami." A blue spectral figure appeared and said, "Greetings, Naruto-sama. What may I do for you, my champion?" And Naruto then bowed on one knee and said, "Contact Kami-sama. We need to destroy the seal right away." Shinigami then pulled out a golden bell, and after that, Kami appeared in all her beautiful glory, and Naruto said, "Bow, you idiots. Bow before the goddess of life, and god of death." Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Hiruzen all did as they were told, and Kami asked, "Shinigami, why have you called me?" And Shinigami said, "Take a look at the second seal in the scroll in front of us. Tell me what you see." Kami did as asked, and her eyes widened, and she said, "That jutsu should never have been created to begin with. I'm glad you called us, Naruto. Thank you." And Naruto said, "When it confirms tampering with life and death anytime, Mistress Kami and Lord Shinigami." And Shinigami said, "You have done well in showing this to us, young champion of life. Now, let's begin." Kami and Shinigami then pulled out a pair of Marti grass beads, and rubbing them together, they began to glow. After which, the beads were placed on top of each other, and as the seals of Edo Tensei ritual vanished from existence, as if it was never created. They then picked up their beads and said, "It is done. The impure reincarnation jutsu no longer exists. We shall be going once again. We thank you, champion of ours." The two then disappeared, and Naruto said, "You may rise, and I'm certain that you have many questions, so let's just skip to the answers." Naruto then summoned his spirit dweller sword and stabbed it into the floor and said, "Kami art, memory projection." And a blinding white light then appeared throughout the entire room, and Naruto's memories were displayed for all to see as if they were watching some sort of movie. All of his recent memories from the night he was attacked to the next morning where he lost his temper at his classmates and put them in their place. To say that they were surprised was an understatement. They were amazed at how Naruto could communicate with the Shinigami and Kami, to learn how his bloodline works and that he could use it to predict the future. Jiraiya then said, "That's the most incredible thing that I've ever seen." Jiraiya then fainted, and Tsunade said, "Well, nothing would surprise me at this point." And Naruto said, "It gets better, because Shinigami said that when I unlock the final stages of the Reaper Eye, it becomes the Resurrection's Eye." Now, Tsunade could faint, and so she did. And Naruto said, "Oh, and Hokage-sama, enjoy the Shadow Clone Jutsu, and thanks for the scroll that rightfully belongs to me. I expect to have it the day I graduate the academy." Chapter 5. Naruto casts judgment on the village. The next few days went pretty strange for Naruto, as he noticed that the villagers would either greet him with a genuine smile or ask him how his day was, and yet, somehow, enjoyed it. And as he was walking home from the academy, he noticed that the entire shinobi and civilian population were waiting there for him. At his first natural reaction was to just wait and see what happens next. But after 10 minutes of waiting, he realized that they were there to help him, as a random villager said, "Please forgive us all, Naruto-sama. If you have any kindness in your heart, please let us do what we can to help the hero of the village since first. We have misjudged you for far too long, and we can change. Just give us a chance." Naruto thought it was interesting, to say the least. Maybe he should give them a chance to prove themselves and change how they've been. So looking at the villagers and shinobi, he said, "I've always been a forgiving person, so I'm willing to give you all a second chance to prove that you can change. I never held hatred for you people, only pity and sadness. So you're all forgiven." Naruto then noticed that the villagers all had his furniture and belongings packed up and ready to move. So he asked, as the Hokage stepped forward, "What's going on here? Am I being moved to somewhere else?" And Hiruzen said, "Yes, Naruto, you are. We're going to be moving you into your parents' house. It's in the clan district, not far from the academy." "Why?" Naruto said. "Oh, no reason. It's just a surprise to me, that's all. And I didn't know that I was left with my own home to live in." And so with that, Naruto was going to pick up one of the boxes when another villager said, "Please, Naruto-sama, don't overexert yourself. Let me help you with that." And Naruto said, "Thanks. I'm glad you're all having second thoughts about everything that happened in the past, but I have no real reason to be mad at you people. You were angry at the Kyuubi, not realizing that you were hurting me." And once again, the villagers were thankful that Naruto's kind nature let him put the past aside, and they accepted their apologies and let them help him. When they reached his parents' house, Naruto was surprised at how beautiful and big it was. It was a 2-story house with a stone foundation and decorative red tiles for the roof, and a beautiful flower garden that went down both sides of the stone walkway. As they opened the door, Naruto was impressed. The floors were hardwood, the furniture was all new as if it was never used, and the kitchen had a full-size kitchen and a stove with an overhead microwave, cabinets, and a gorgeous white floor. The tiles were amazing. The master bedroom had a full-size bed and closet, which is where he guessed his parents slept in, and 2 mid-sized guest rooms. All in all, to be honest, it was the most beautiful place he's ever seen. By the time he'd finished looking around, the Hokage and villagers had already finished moving his things into his house and set everything up. Jiraiya and Tsunade then walked in and said, "Hey Naruto, do you know who we are?" Naruto just nodded his head no, and Tsunade said, "We're your grandparents. I'm Tsunade, and this is Jiraiya. Your parents wanted us to take care of you, and we hope you'll let us. You've been alone and fending for yourself for too long now." Naruto couldn't speak. Instead, he just grabbed Tsunade and Jiraiya and cried into their shoulders. And Tsunade said, "I'm sorry we left you alone, kid. But we're back now, and we're going to be staying here for you. Always." Naruto had finally cried himself to sleep, and Tsunade said, "Thank you everyone for your help. I'm going to put him to bed now, and I hope you will be more kind to him from now on." And the entire crowd of people said, "We will, Lady Tsunade. We swear to Kami on our lives. We will give Naruto-sama only the best of everything he deserves." And so, Tsunade then walked to Naruto up to his bedroom and laid him in bed, tucked him in, and kissed him goodnight. Jiraiya and Tsunade naturally decided to take the master bedroom, which was just down the hall from Naruto's bedroom, in case he was having a hard time sleeping or nightmares. Meanwhile, up in the heavens, Kami and Shinigami were impressed with how well Naruto had handled the situation and adapted to his new lifestyle. And Kami said, "Well then, I guess we don't need to intervene for now at least. His bloodline, it's improving at a rapid rate. In another year or so, he will have unlocked the final stage of the Reaper's Eye and be truly known as the Grim Reaper of Konoha. Wouldn't you say, Shinigami?" And the Shinigami said, "He will indeed. be a very powerful shinobi. And as I've noticed, he doesn't always rely on his bloodline like the Uchiha clan or Hyuga clan does. He doesn't take the easy way out of a situation. He enjoys working hard to get results. That's why I gave him our power, because with a pure heart and a noble mind, he could accomplish anything he sets his mind to. Chapter 6: The Spirit Dweller's True Name. Naruto and Kurama were currently training in his mindscape, and let's just say that Naruto was performing quite well, and took to Kenjutsu and Fuinjutsu like a fish to water. He was a natural prodigy, and was only getting better with more and more training. Currently, we find Naruto clashing swords with Kurama and the Shinigami, to Naruto's surprise. When he found out the seal holding back Kurama was powered by the Shinigami himself and offered to teach Naruto how to control his ability to predict the future and work with him on learning the true name of his Zanpakuto, they were halfway through their training session when suddenly Naruto heard two voices, and then his sword began to glow, after which it split into two weapons and a Reaper scythe and a whip with spikes around it as Naruto looked behind him and saw a man and a woman. Kurama and the Shinigami bowed before these two people, and Naruto felt like he should also. The woman then spoke and said, "Greetings, I am Izanami, and this is Izanagi. We are the spirit that lives within your sword." Izanagi then spoke and said, "You are Naruto Uzumaki, correct?" Naruto just nodded his head, and Izanagi continued, "We are the first gods to rule the land, and my whip along with Izanami's scythe will let you contact many souls. As the Shinigami's champion, we shall tell you how." Izanami then said, "To use my scythe, you need only speak my name, and to call upon Izanagi and his whip, you need only to speak his name, and our abilities vary depending on whose soul you've collected. For example, if you were to use my scythe on a powerful enemy, all of their skills and abilities would become your own." Izanagi then said, "And if you were to capture someone with my whip, you could drain their power and life force, making it your own while healing you in the process." Naruto was amazed at how much power the weapons he now possessed contains, and said, "I will use your abilities wisely, and only for the purest of intentions, to protect people who have sinned and deserve death." Izanagi and Izanami then smiled and said, "We already know that you will. We've always known. You have chosen your champion well, Shinigami-sama." Shinigami then said, "Thank you, Lord Izanagi. Lady Izanami, I have faith in him, and he's not yet disappointed me or Kami." The two great deities then disappeared, and the two weapons became one yet again. Naruto then woke up and headed to the academy, the next day with a smile on his face. For once, he's got family. For once, he's got people who care about him, and now the entire village would know who he was as a shinobi. He would soon be to the world as the Grim Reaper, as the enemies of Konoha would fear him and allies would worship him like a deity. But unlike the Uchiha clan, he was too humble to let the powers he possessed go to his head. Speaking of which, we now find Sasuke Uchiha next to a well-rested Naruto, who thanks to Sakura's help was doing much better academically, and as for his taijutsu training and chakra control, he could now perform medical ninjutsu, and practiced on Jiraiya almost every chance he got when Tsunade caught him peeking in on the lady's hot springs and beat the hell out of him. Naruto enjoyed the real life medical training with his grandmother, but poor Jiraiya didn't, since he was always the one being tested on. But Tsunade just said, "Quit staring at women like a piece of meat, and perhaps I will, you old pervert." Jiraiya just looked at Tsunade and said, "You know that would be great if you just went out with me for one date, but if you don't give up on gambling, then I won't stop peeking on the women's hot springs." And Tsunade said, "That's a low blow even for you, Jiraiya. You know I love gambling." Naruto was getting annoyed with his grandparents and said, "Hey, doesn't my opinion matter here? And besides, I'm willing to make a bet with the both of you." Tsunade just smirked and said, "You see, Jiraiya, even Naruto's considering gambling." "Okay, Naruto, what's the bet?" Tsunade would soon regret those words, and Naruto said, "I'm willing to bet that if you guys go out on a date together and enjoy it, you both have to give something up. For Grandma, it's gambling, and Grandpa, peeking on the woman's hot spring. But if neither of one of you enjoyed it, then you both get to keep what you enjoy most. Deal?" Tsunade and Jiraiya were speechless, It's like the devil just came in and asked for what makes them human. They looked at each other knowing that this was the only way to settle their differences, and Tsunade said, "Fine. And just how long is it going to be if we have to give up our hobby?" And Naruto said, "Until I graduate the academy." Silence fell upon them. "What? You can't be serious," they said together, and Naruto said, "As serious as a heart attack." They just sighed in defeat and said, "Deal." Which now brings us back to why Naruto was so happy, because tonight was the night that Jiraiya and Tsunade went on their date, and he's eager to see what was going to happen. He got home and noticed a smile on both Jiraiya and Tsunade and said, "Let me guess, you enjoyed your date, didn't you?" And Jiraiya said, "You bet we did. I'm surprised that in just one night, on a date away from our distractions, that was able to bring us closer again." "Thanks, kid." And Tsunade said, "Now then, a deal's a deal, I guess. So we're giving up on gambling and picking on women, right, Jiraiya?" And Jiraiya said, "You bet, Tsunade." And Tsunade from here asked, "So Naruto, is there anything we can do for you? Since you obviously have something, or someone on your mind. A girl perhaps? Maybe even Hiyashi Hyuga's daughter Hinata?" Naruto then said with his Reaper Eye activated, "My love life shouldn't be a concern to you at the moment. Focus on your own love life first, and if there's any improvement, then we can talk about my love life. Until then, stay out of it." They just sighed and said, "Fine, but we're going to find out one way or another. You know that, don't you?" And Naruto said, "Keep trying and you might be the next ones to meet the Shinigami and my parents in the afterlife." And Jiraiya said, "Maybe we can talk about it after you graduate, right? We just want what's best for you, not us. So what do you think?" And Tsunade said, "I tell you what, if Jiraiya and I are married before you graduate, you have to tell us everything about your love life. Since you have helped ours, we'll help you with yours." And Naruto just walked up to his room and said, "I'll think about it." And Jiraiya said, "He's going to make us wait until he graduates, isn't he?" And Tsunade said, "I'm afraid so, Jiraiya. I'm afraid so." Tsunade huffed in annoyance, knowing how juicy information like that would be, so they decided to forget about it, for now at least. And so, after that night, everything went as normal. Naruto went to the academy, Jiraiya managed his spy network with the Toads, and Tsunade was working at the hospital. Then, when school lets out, they would pick Naruto up from the academy and walk home together, while they formed a plan to see what Naruto decided about their little bet. So Tsunade asked, "So Naruto, about the deal we made? Have you decided yet?" Naruto said, "I've given it some thought, and if you can get married by the last year of my academy, I might tell you who I'm interested in. But no later than that." And Jiraiya and Tsunade nodded to each other and said, "Deal." Naruto knew that they were planning on this. He'd seen that look before, and knew that eventually he'd win the bet. So he decided to ask, "So Grandpa Jiraiya, how much of my parents' money did you spend on the diamond ring for Grandma Tsunade?" Jiraiya just froze in place and said, "How did you know about that, Naruto?" And Naruto said, "Oh please, you don't think I'm that stupid, do you? I consistently monitor their bank accounts for anything missing, like say 10,000 Ryu for a diamond ring shaped like the Senju family crest with the Uzumaki clan spiral next to it." And Jiraiya said, "Damn it. I knew I was going to regret that eventually." And Tsunade asked, "What's he talking about, Jiraiya? What ring?" And Naruto said, "The one he's going to give you tonight after dinner. It's in his shinobi pouch right now." And Tsunade said, "Show me, Jiraiya. Show me the ring." And Jiraiya said, "Here." Way to spoil the moment, Naruto. With Naruto saying, "Hey, I'm always one step ahead of you guys. Try to keep up." Jiraiya then pulled out a little black box and said, "Will you, Tsunade Senju, marry me and be my first wife?" Tsunade couldn't believe the size of the diamond. It had to be 10 carats at least. The band itself looks like solid gold. Tsunade had tears of joy in her eyes and said, "Yes, Jiraiya, of course I'll marry you. And a deal is a deal, Naruto. You lost the bet, and now..." Naruto then said, "Actually, neither of you won. I did. I said no later than my graduation. I never said how soon, so technically, I win. Checkmate. I already knew that you were going to try and plan something like this, so I compensated for that by telling you how long you would have to wait, not how soon." Jiraiya and Tsunade couldn't even believe it. He played them like a violin again. Jiraiya and Tsunade then said, "You played us again, you brat." And Naruto just casually said, "Yeah, I did. And guess what? it was worth every penny. Wouldn't you say, old man? And Hiruzen said, guess I lost the best, didn't I? Curse you, the Uzumaki clan, and your good fortune. And Naruto said, that's what you get when you make a deal with the devil. Now pay up. And Hiruzen said, fine, as promised, 10,000 Ryu. That should cover what Jiraiya took from your parents' bank account. Tsunade and Jiraiya couldn't believe it. The kid's far too lucky. They then said, you bet on us getting engaged? And Naruto said, is there a reason why you think I shouldn't have? Besides, it's funny seeing the shocked looks on your faces every time. And then they both said, get back here, you brat, so we can beat the crap out of you. And Naruto said, you're gonna have to find me first. Poof. Naruto then in front of them disappeared, and Jiraiya said, damn it, he was a shadow clone the whole time? Now we have to find him. Hiruzen then chuckled and said, indeed you won't, and good luck catching him. When you do, he's already running out my best Anbu in me. His stealth skills are trapping making skills are quite exceptional for his age. He could even be watching us right now, but we wouldn't be able to find him. He's learned to suppress his chakra to practically zero and avoid capture for 12 hours straight. Again, good luck with your search. Hiruzen then left and went back to the tower, where he found Naruto organizing some files, cleaning his office for him, and said, you do know this is why I have a secretary, Naruto, but thank you nonetheless. I appreciate it. And Naruto said, no problem. Hey, have they found me yet? And Hiruzen said, no, just your shadow clones. That was quite clever, I must admit. I didn't think they would actually get engaged to each other. And Naruto said, they never gave each other a reason to. And so, now we find a tired and exhausted Jiraiya and Tsunade back home fast asleep in bed wrapped around each other. As Naruto watched them sleep, he then left to go to his bedroom window and said, good, they're too tired to have sex. All according to plan. Soon, they will be struggling with wedding arrangements, and that's when the beatings turned even sweeter for me and more sour for them. He then went to bed and fell asleep to get up for school the next day. Chapter 7. Time skip. The mission to Wave Country. Naruto, Kakashi, and the rest of Team 7, Hinata Hyuga, and Sasuke Uchiha were in the Hokage's office, waiting for their first C-ranked mission. I'm guessing this is a little bit of a time skip after the events that happened in the last part, and Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third Hokage, said, yeah, Team 7, I have an escort mission to the Wave of Country for you. You are to safely escort the bridge builder to his home country, and should the mission escalate to a higher rank, you should immediately call for reinforcements. Am I clear, Kakashi? Kakashi saying, yes, Lord Hokage. Okay, gang, head home and pack for a month-long journey. Naruto then said, Hokage Jiji, may I meet the client with you alone? Hiruzen noticed the seriousness in Naruto's voice and said, very well, Maibu, please send in Tazuna. Just then, a man with a straw hat who reeked of alcohol and carried a sake bottle in his hand said, what's this? I asked you to bring me strong ninja to protect me, and you give me a lazy pervert blue-haired girl with self-esteem issues and a blonde idiot who probably couldn't. Hiruzen noticed that Naruto's killing intent was steadily rising and had to save Tazuna before he said something he would regret. He then looked at Tazuna and said, I can assure you, Tazuna, they are more than qualified to be your bodyguards. Especially the blonde-haired idiot has more power in his left hand than his teammates have in their entire body. Kakashi, you and your other students are dismissed. Naruto and I must have a heart-to-heart chat about the mission. And Kakashi said, as you wish, Lord Hokage. Tazuna then sat down in front of the Hokage and Naruto and said, so, what do you want to know? And Naruto said, tell us why you're lying about your mission rank. You wouldn't need shinobi to protect you if someone hadn't sent shinobi after you. So tell us, why did you lie? And Tazuna said, please forgive me. Our country is in a state of poverty because of the ruthless business tyrant named Gato. We've only had enough money for a C-rank mission. When it's more of an A-rank mission, please don't turn away our request. I have a daughter and grandson to take care of. Hiruzen noticed that Naruto had his Reaper's eyes activated, searching for any hint of lie or deception. He then asked and said, well, Naruto, did you find any lies in the story with your Reaper's eye? And Naruto said, none at all, Hokage Jiji, but the cost of our services have just gone up. If you're willing to sign a trade agreement with the Hidden Leaf Village, then we will accept your request for protection. And Tazuna said, kid, you have yourself a deal. And Hiruzen said, excellent, Naruto. You may leave while Tazuna and I draw up a trade agreement between Wave Country and the Hidden Leaf." Naruto then walked out of the office, and just before he closed the door, he looked over his shoulder at Tazuna and said, "I hope you aren't keeping any other secrets from us, or I will get them out of you, and not in a good way." He then closed the door and went home to pack his tools and resources, including a pop-up tent for camping. And Tazuna would then ask, "If you don't mind me asking, Lord Hokage, what's with that kid's attitude? He's definitely got trust issues, that's certain, but what makes someone as young as him so cold-hearted?" And Hiruzen said, "Naruto Uzumaki had many secrets that he could put himself and those close to him in danger, and it's for that reason that he tries to distance himself from those who he doesn't fully trust. So do try to be honest with him, or he will have the death god pay you a small visit." And Tazuna said, "Right, I got it. The kid's got him secrets and doesn't want to put others in danger. I understand." Meanwhile, back at the Namikaze Senju home, Jiraiya and Tsunade were too busy helping Naruto pack for his mission, and Jiraiya and Tsunade gave him one final hug goodbye and wished him good luck. He was about to leave before he turned around and said, "Oh, and don't forget that if you try to have beep while I'm away, I'll personally cut off your testicles and feed them to the Inuzuka hounds as a treat with my spirit dweller sword. And Grandma Tsunade, should you try to get pregnant before I get home, I will personally have the Shinigami rip the unborn child's soul. Am I clear?" Tsunade put her hands over her stomach, and Jiraiya covered his manhood, knowing that Naruto had always held true to his word, and they wanted to live for a future. So Tsunade then said, "Jiraiya, I don't care how much you beg or plead or get down on your knees. I actually want to keep both of my eggs inside me. Sorry, but until Naruto says otherwise, no beep for you. You understand me? We need to think about Naruto first. After he's married and started his own family, I'll consider it, but not until Naruto's at least married, when he makes Chunin. So don't get any funny ideas." And Jiraiya said, all right, I get it. The kid's got abandonment issues and doesn't want to be ignored. But haven't we done enough for him already? Don't we deserve some kind of happiness to ourselves?" And Tsunade said, "I'm perfectly happy taking care of Naruto, Jiraiya. Minato and Kushina put us in charge of him the night he was born 12 years ago. And what did we do? We did the very thing he's worried we do behind his back again. We abandoned him, and you want us to repeat the same mistake all over again? Absolutely not. We will wait until Naruto comes back from his mission and talk with him about it. And that's final." Jiraiya just sighed in defeat, knowing that there was pretty much no point in arguing with Tsunade at this point, since she was pretty much always correct. It would be a bad idea to try having children without talking to Naruto about it first. Not to mention, Naruto would probably feel some type of betrayal towards him and worry about being ignored, and kill them without even a second thought. Jiraiya just shivered at that thought and said, "I guess you're right, Tsunade. We'll talk about it with Naruto when he gets back from the wave mission." And Tsunade said, "I'm glad you finally decided to see things my way for once." She then kissed him on the cheek and went to cook lunch as Jiraiya just returned home to write his novels and The Art of Sealing, as he just hoped that this conversation they were going to have would come sooner than later and would go smoother. Otherwise, it's bye-bye to little Jiraiya and Tsunade.